Hi, welcome to Behind the Badge. I'm Chief Alan Rodbell of the Scottsdale Police Department. With me is Miss Chris Fasal, our community liaison.
Hi, everybody.
How you dealing with the heat?
Oh my goodness, it's only August.
Yeah, it's been an interesting summer, to say the least.
It has.
It's been very humid, and we've had quite a few number of 100
Very
plus
humid.
degree days in a row. And I haven't experienced a lot of rain. I live up in the northern part of the city.
We have gotten
I haven't
no
seen
rain.
a lot of rain.
It's kind of scary. Every
Yeah.
time I go by, it says fire danger high. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, but here we are, end of summer, and the kids will be going back to school soon. So we always
August
talk
8th
about
in Arizona.
So we always talk about that. So school zones again. Please be careful. The kids are walking to school, and lots of additional traffic taking the kids to school. And
Watch for
so
the
be
little
careful.
boxes. Photo radar. Today I don't know. Just watch for them because they're out.
So was it a van or was it one of the school boxes?
No, it was a school box.
Oh,
We talked
okay.
about that last time.
But last time that they're
Yeah.
still active.
And I
even
don't
though
know. I
school's
just looked down and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
So just, it can happen. You get kind of caught up going to where you got to go and
not thinking.
you're not looking at your speed. So,
Yeah. So
I'm
be
just
careful.
telling you, yeah.
Careful. I will say this, that I do want to say thank you to everyone out there in our public, because over the past few weeks we've received a tremendous amount of support from our community. Where they see us out in public and they thank us personally, or they're sending food and cards and letters and emails into the police stations.
I've gotten
It's
a
just
lot
been
of
phenomenal.
some myself, and I thank you so much for the support. We really appreciate it.
These are challenging times for all of us, but we are committed in Scottsdale to making sure we support and partner with our community to make sure we give great quality service, and we work in partnership.
We do.
And so,
Well, we try. We work very closely with our community. That's why we do so many outreach programs. That's why we have our program to get our word out to our citizenry.
And today's program actually plays into that. So again, thank you all very much for all the support you've given us. But today's program really talks about one district in particular, and we talk about some of our services in that one district, which is probably true in all the districts, but we're going to focus in on our District 2, which is our downtown district.
Correct, where all the activity is. And Commander Minor couldn't be here, and Commander Henny couldn't be here on our last show when we had Commander LeDuc and we had Commander Hall. So we decided just to do Commander Minor.
Oh, special day for Commander Minor.
Yes,
oh,
and his crime prevention officer, and then Commander Henny will be in on our next show to talk about his district as well.
Sounds great. Well, welcome. And all kidding aside, we know that some people couldn't make it because it's a summer month.
It is, and they have to take their family to vacation. It's the Disneyland. You got to go to Disneyland.
Anyway, welcome back, and it's great having you here. And before we introduce Eric Bowles, let's talk a little about you and your career. You're the District 2 Commander, which is our downtown district that goes from the north side of Osborne to the south side of McDonald.
Correct.
And why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I've been with the city for just about 19 years. In just a few weeks, I'll hit my 19-year anniversary.
Congratulations.
Thank you. A few years in patrol, working mostly down south here in the district area. It was a different district at the time. And spent about cumulatively just over 10 years in investigations. So I had opportunity to work in property crimes. I worked in narcotics. I was a gang sergeant for our gang investigative unit. I also worked for you in internal affairs. And then as a lieutenant, went back to the road as a patrol lieutenant, worked a little time in special investigations again, and then most recently got promoted to commander, and I've been working in the downtown district for just over a year.
And you're a Minnesota fan, because you're from Minnesota.
Yes, sir.
Aaron's got his office decked out with the Minnesota stuff.
Go Vikings.
Vikings, go Vikings.
So how'd you end up here in Arizona?
Well, we moved back in 1997 to get out of the cold and found the heat. In all seriousness, there was a lot of hiring in this particular profession. Obviously, law enforcement was Phoenix was hiring, Glendale was hiring, all the cities were hiring here, and Minnesota was a lot different. There was just a smaller pool of opportunity, and so we decided to make the move down to Arizona, and got hired here with Scottsdale, and really have never looked back, other than the summertime.
Yeah, great. Eric Bowles is actually our community services officer, works out of the District 2 station. And how long have you been there in that assignment?
I've been in that assignment for a year and a half now. I was a recruit training officer at the academy and came from there into this position.
And you've been with City of Scottsdale for how long?
Just over 10 years. Before that, I was a human resources executive living in Denver, and
really?
then decided to make a radical career change.
No
and-
kidding.
That is a big change.
That is a
yes.
big change.
Yeah.
So what attracted you into law enforcement?
My dad was a police officer for 37 years in the city of Indianapolis, and something, I don't know, always kind of been in there, and just decided one day that I needed to do it before I was way, way too old. And
Oh, awesome.
very similar to the commander, living in Denver, Scottsdale had a national reputation. I was talking to friends who were in law enforcement, other people I knew, and all the way to Denver, people talked about how progressive the department was, and I came down, interviewed, and next thing you know,
It's history.
It's history. And here I am.
Very
So,
cool.
history.
yes.
Now you've done other assignments other than this assignment. So where else have you been in the City of Scottsdale?
Yes, I was with the bike unit, our bicycle unit, in the downtown for about 3 years. Then I went to be a recruit training officer down at Aaliyah, and then I was in patrol before that. And then this position, which has been just incredibly challenging at our downtown district.
So Commander, to give us a little idea of what goes on in the downtown district.
Well, unlike a lot of the districts in our city, we're more or less a 24, I would say more like 20-hour operation. We've got our daytime, we've got one of the largest malls in the western coast, Fashion Square Mall. So we service that mall, and specifically we have off-duty component. We also help with some of the traffic issues, and as you've seen, we've all seen the growth from the downtown related to the condos, the apartments, the housing developments really taking a foothold, and it's continuing to grow. So that's our daytime, and then at night, most people are aware that Scottsdale nightlife is a very vibrant, exciting, dynamic place to be. So we work with a lot of the clubs, and we service a lot of the patronage, the bars, the restaurants, the hotels that go on, late into the evening, early into the early morning hours. So really, we have just a unique district for the city, and that we keep going. Our squads are busy day and night on the weekends, and with the advent of all the special events that we see, it brings another fold into our kind of service level back to the community. So we're really excited about the NCAA tournament coming in the March. We had the BCS Bowl, the Super Bowl, so every year we seem to get a really good national event that comes and showcases Scottsdale.
Because Scottsdale is so cool. We have a great city.
Yeah.
It's very much a large city in a compact area,
It
because you
is.
have everything there. You have businesses, you have attractions, you have residents, you have folks coming in to work during the day, you have people that party at night. I mean, it really is, as you mentioned, 24-hour town.
And it used to be, well, on the years that I've been here and was on patrol, downtown Scottsdale was Old Town,
Right.
and it was like the coolest little shops, and it was where the people came to visit and just get a taste of the West. But with all the housing and all the complexes that are going in, it's just changed the dynamics of District 2 so much.
And I think it slowed down for a short while, but I think it's well on its way. It's coming back. I think we're starting to see a little bit more of the infill, as you mentioned, more and more residents moving in. They've taken out the old motel that was down by the mall, and that vacant lot we used during the Super Bowl for some of the Super Bowl activities. I think ESPN was down there with their activities, and I know there's plans to build on that piece of property as well. So it just keeps growing and growing and attracting more and more people.
Absolutely.
So what are the real issues down there? Because it seems very, very safe.
Yeah.
Both at night while people are down there enjoying the nightlife, as well as during the day when people are down shopping and enjoying the daytime opportunities to spend time.
Well, I think one of the biggest issues that the city is dealing with, not only city council but the police department as well, is the parking challenge. With all this movement, all the development, we have the same amount of parking. So we're working hand in hand with our transportation unit or section. We're working with the council direction. We're also working with the businesses, the residents, to come up with a plan that's solvent for the future, so that we can continue to enjoy all those things and still have a place to go, to park, and to get around and go to the restaurants and enjoy yourself without having a heavy burden of parking off-site. So that's one of the big challenges. From a crime standpoint, we really don't have a lot of of specific spikes. We generally have a large trend of property crimes, much like other parts of the city. And specific to the mall, it's probably the largest single destination in the city where we see thousands, tens of thousands of people every weekend. So we see shoplifts and things like that. Organized retail thefts continues to be a regional concern, and something that we're working hand in hand with our investigative unit on trying to, really try to figure out who's doing it, how can we prosecute more effectively. And again, that partnership with the mall, with the security, with the building, with the property managers, really working on communicating what it is that we're looking for that'll help them, aid them in prosecution. So out of the two things that we deal with kind of day in and day out, those are two of the big challenges that we face in our downtown district.
And that is a big issue. I think we've got an amazing relationship with the mall personnel. We've had that relationship for many, many years, and it just continues to improve and grow. So as the mall grows, our relationship and the fact that we work so well together has really helped resolve issues that before they even become real issues. But you're right, it's truly a destination.
And I know, like, sometimes being in the chief's office and being the community liaison, I get calls all the time on business checks and things like that, which then I in turn send to the crime prevention officers, which would be you, Officer Bowles. So some of the challenges that the mall faces is having you all come out to talk about issues. Can you give us some ideas of some of the issues that you speak with not only the mall business, but other businesses that you can offer to them?
Yes. We talked a little bit about the diversity in the downtown. So one of the biggest things I do, and when the commander is busy, is really you are the face of the district. You're really out in front of all the businesses. The mall recently, we've started doing quarterly training with the mall. We talk about anything from crime prevention, personal safety. We've done a lot of training now on critical incidents. That's become a very kind of hot topic these days. So we've done a lot of critical incident training with our big partners in the downtown. We have a level 1 trauma center in our district. We have Scottsdale Stadium in our district. We have the mall, the Galleria, just the diversity of businesses and all the training opportunities we offer them. And we have the transportation carts, so we'll do training with transportation carts. We have the largest concentration of transportation carts in the state of Arizona. We have Segway tours. Us and Tempe are the only groups. So not only do we deal with the businesses, but we talk with all these special interest groups and how to integrate in the downtown, how to work with the businesses. We do a lot of liquor training with all the diverse bars, our liquor departments. It's really quite incredible.
You're kind of busy.
Yes, we are. We really are.
Kind of busy.
See, you might want to explain cart training, just for the folks at home.
So we have well over 100 transportation carts that operate in the downtown. So last year we did the first ever transportation cart summit, where we invited all of these carts in, the operators. We had over 60 carts come in.
So we're talking about both
yes,
golf carts
right.
and like the
And
guys for the baseball, the pedaling
and
guys,
the
because
rickshaws.
okay, got it.
Yes.
And our pedal buses. They all came, and we really talked about how to be safe, what laws apply, how to be good partners, not only with the police, but with the businesses in the downtown, traffic flow. It really was about an hour meeting on really just being a good partner and how to work well with the city.
Yeah.
So trying to be innovative in the things we do and the training we're doing.
We've seen some horrific accidents, and so we've always been concerned about that, because sometimes they're difficult to see, or they make maneuvers that make them more difficult to see, and so we really appreciate that, and that alone has improved the safety down there tremendously. So thank you for that. You also do security surveys for businesses?
Yes, we do. That has really increased lately with the events. So we offer security surveys for residences and for businesses.
What does that entail? I'm a resident. I want somebody to come out and look at my property in terms of my safety. I just call you, make an appointment.
Correct.
You come out. What happens?
Basically, we get with the resident. We walk the exterior of the house. We'll look for things like trimming your bushes back. How does your lighting look outside? What's the view from the street? It's kind of the SEPTED principles that we use. Then we'll go through the inside with them. How are their deadbolts? How are their locks? How are they securing their windows? Just kind of real base. We try and keep it basic for them. but really, how can you better secure your house? Are you using an alarm? If you are using an alarm, are you using it effectively? So we really just kind of walk the house with them. And the basic thing we're trying to do is really just make people feel more secure in their own homes and really feel safer in their homes.
And if we've always said, and we talk about this a lot, about information is power.
Yes.
I used to be in crime prevention myself, so with the SEPTED rules and the things that you can apply, it's
Okay,
something
you guys got to explain SEPTED.
Oh, sorry.
So you're talking code and
Crime prevention through environmental design.
Yes.
And so basically, sometimes people just don't think about having a double deadlock bolt
Yes.
or it's a single deadlock bolt. So there's a lot of
Right.
different things that we can offer to people. So I'm
Yeah.
sure that's what you do, Officer Bowles.
Yes, and some of our messages as simple as lock your doors. People
Keep
would
your
be,
garage door down.
Yes, people would be surprised that 85% of the vehicle thefts in Scottsdale are to unsecured vehicles. So it's just sometimes it's very simple messages.
And I think we talked about this last week.
We talked about this
You
again,
said,
yes.
don't leave your purse or your keys in your car in your garage and leave your garage door open.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that just really does happen.
Always.
So we just
Yeah.
need
Yes.
people to know that. And it sometimes it sounds so simple, but all of a sudden somebody goes, yeah, I guess I shouldn't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what was it, 60% garage burglaries or garage
Right.
theft? So if we could get
Right.
half the people to close it, we cut crime in third.
Yes.
That's a huge statistic
is.
when
Right.
you think about it.
And-
But you're right, it's a safe community, but you don't want to give opportunity that you don't need to give.
Right, and
And that's part of it.
Yes.
And so you do the same thing for businesses. So we have a lot of business
Correct.
owners watching. They could call and they could have someone come out and give them some ideas of ways they can tighten up their security
Correct.
inside their businesses
Yes,
as well.
inside now. More lights. One of the most common things we go to our businesses are just so dark, and criminals just do not like light. So some simple things, just adding more light, making your business look more bright, more inhabited, just very simple things people can do to make their businesses and homes
Posters
more
up on
secure.
windows.
Yes.
And is it still true that they can call in with an emergency number? Because I remember there were a lot of businesses that didn't have a contact with the police department, or who do we need to contact at 2 o'clock in the morning? Is that still something that you are wanting businesses to do, to give you names and contact information?
Yes, especially our dispatch really appreciates when businesses keep their current contacts, their alarm. If you're rotating personnel, you really should be calling your alarm company every time you have a new management or change. It's frustrating for the dispatchers when they're calling people and then we call somebody at home and they're like, I haven't worked there for 6 months. And so keeping your contacts up to date is really important for the businesses.
Good information.
And there is someone like you in a position similar to yours in all 4 of the districts, correct?
Yes.
So we'll put the numbers, I think, for all the different districts, so folks can call their representative, and if they get the wrong one, we'll just get referred to the right one based on
Absolutely.
it.
Yes.
And they all do stuff for each
Yes,
other, because
we
I'm
do.
always sending this for you. No, it's for him. So okay, just do it.
Well, the boundaries can be kind of confusing because it's north
It
side and
keeps
south side of the
moving.
street, so it can be confusing, and we do change them up every once
We
in a while. You're
do.
right. You're right. So what's coming up in the very near future? Because here we are starting to get back into season again. You mentioned there's a tournament that's different
Final Four. The NCAA Final Four is coming to Phoenix in March.
in March.
And undoubtedly will have an impact on Scottsdale from an event. The restaurants, the hotels will be busier, the mall, a lot of pep rallies, things like that generally come with those national events.
Do you know who's playing?
If I did, I'd make a lot of money.
But isn't it true, Commander, that baseball also starts?
Baseball
And
starts in the
baseball season starts as well, and you have several
fall
teams,
baseball.
not only in Scottsdale, but in Tempe and Phoenix, that also come to Scottsdale to
Sure.
go to the mall and do stuff as well.
Yeah, so we have fall baseball will start up here probably in October. The back to school will hit. That has an impact on the mall and some of the businesses. The mall has their cycle of events that come with their new businesses that are opening up, and they're doing a lot of renovating. So they undoubtedly have more events planned that are smaller, but again draw residents and community members from not only Scottsdale but from around the valley to see what's going on. So it's
Absolutely.
good.
So another resource to our residents, because we do have a lot of new groups of residents, HOAs or apartment complexes or condo associations, and so I suspect you spent a little bit of your time working with residents as well. And I know we recently had an incident where you went out and met with some residents to talk about their concerns about one of the tenants and some of the behaviors that they were up to. So I suspect you also offer those services on a regular basis?
Yes, it's funny, your timing was perfect on that. So we just met with the Stetson, which is one of our largest new apartment groups downtown. And we do the exact same thing. We talk to the residents really about just how to make yourself safer, what's going on in the downtown, special events. We usually bring crime stats to the area and show them what's going on around their residence. And we went to do the Mark condominiums over by the Valley Ho, and I went to pull crime stats for the year to take to the meeting for their residents, and they had 2 crime stats, so I had to expand it almost a mile outside to get something exciting to talk about at the meeting. So that just shows how, you know, really safe the area is downtown and how well places are doing. But we talked about the exact same thing. Chief, you point out we're the 5th safest. I don't know the studies, we go up and down 1, 2, but the 5th safest community in the nation, and I think people get that false sense of security. So we really just, same thing with the apartments, talk about really basic, you know, walking to your car, keeping your car locked, being good neighbors, when to make calls with your neighbors, and really just kind of being visible. To see something, say something is very popular right now, and that's really the message we're kind of going out and spreading is don't just assume that, you know, if you see something that somebody else is going to call. Really be proactive members of your community, and that's really what we're trying to get out there now.
And then neighborhood services would be taking care of, in partnership with the police department, also block watch, or if somebody's, and of course we would want block watch implemented within these large structures of apartment buildings. And would Joy Racine be the one that they call for that, or would they call you?
They can call either one. We really do work together well, and if someone calls me, then I'll call Joy, and then she'll call them back and organize those groups. But yeah, they do a great job. The apartments really do a good job as well, forming groups, having people
because it's just a little different form of a block watch. So instead of maybe in an area, it's like an area going upwards because they're tall buildings, but it's still a block watch, and it's still very important to do.
Yeah, and
absolutely.
Some of our, you know, just to kind of piggyback on the block watch, some of our you know, apartment condo communities have asked for block watches, and at times we're not able to service that with Joy, just based on the demographic of the number, the volume, who's in charge, and when are people leaving, and when are they coming back. So many times we allow the community property manager to be that liaison for the community, hold their monthly meetings, and have their board. So as opposed to trying to reach out to 750 people and try to get enough people to a meeting, we allow the board of that particular complex or that particular community to kind of service as that, and we give them again the information. We've met with many of those boards and provided them with not only crime stats but prevention, enforcement information, how to get a hold of us, when to call, when not to call, and just being that resource to them in a different community that usually goes up and doesn't go out. And then we also have the online component now. What's the name of that? The online
Raids Online, or
no, the community block watch online. I forget the name of it, but they're able to log in. Nextdoor.
Nextdoor.com. Sorry, I should have known that myself.
And so that's,
I use that all the time.
We're hoping that you know, doesn't take the place of a block watch, because the block watch, you're with people, you're talking to people, there's that face-to-face and the great community events. But the Nextdoor.com allows for some other, maybe less formal communication between residents to talk about what they see, what they hear, and kind of pass information by.
Absolutely.
So we're also
at a much quicker pace.
Right, yeah, and so we're also giving information that way.
What I really want people to get out of this segment is the fact that the most important thing we have going for each other is communication. And that people don't have to wonder what we're doing or wonder what's going on in their community. All they have to do is reach out and say, hey, we want to talk. And we'll be there, and we'll be part of that, and we'll even, you know, help organize. And if they want to come to see us, they can certainly come see us, but more willing to come and see them. That's really the part of it. You mentioned it earlier about just that open communication and make people alert and aware. Is really what this is about, because that's why I really believe crime has gone down nationally in this country, is because we're now having those open lines of communications where people don't need permission to call 911, don't need to just look at the police as someone who's out watching. We're actually equal partners in keeping our communities safe. And so the services you provide are just wonderful in reaching out, being available, answering the questions and concerns, and putting people at ease about what's going on in their neighborhoods. Lots of stuff online. People can go online at scottsdaleaz.gov, go in the police and find out all kinds of information.
Crime stats.
But that's great, and we want to do that, but that contact is really important. Now we also offer a newsletter. Are you responsible for the newsletter as well, Eric?
I do help the commander.
Okay.
I found he's an excellent writer and articulator, so.
Yeah.
What a suck up.
Yeah, that's great.
That was very
job,
good.
Eric.
Why don't you do that? Why don't you suck up more often? That's amazing.
I wish I could take credit for it, but he actually
But the
is
point is, you put
fantastic.
something out, and you put it out to anyone that's interested. They just have to get on the email list.
Correct.
Is that how you do
Okay.
it?
Yep.
Would you
Okay.
three-
And a lot of times it rotates through districts. Like I think the last one I authored some of the information, and then it might rotate up to a different district. But we're all giving input on what's going on in our city, and if it's specific to a district, well then we'll add that as well.
And so, if I want to get on your newsletter, what do I have to do as a citizen?
I believe the link is on scottsdaleaz.gov.
Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
there's a newsletter, like
Yeah,
sign
just
up for the newsletter.
give it my address
Please,
and-
Yep.
correct.
And you also print some up for those of us that may not have email,
Sure.
right? Because we have some people in the community that don't have the access to a computer or an email system, or don't know how to use it necessarily, and they can come into the station and get a copy of the
Yeah.
newsletter.
Yeah,
Okay.
Correct.
How often do you publish?
I think it's quarterly.
I agree. I
Yeah, it's
think it
quarterly.
is.
Yeah, it's
Quarterly.
quarterly
Yeah.
newsletter.
And of course, you know, the PIO office, our department has their own next door site. I'm so not good with web stuff.
Yes.
It's so archaic for me. And then we also have Twitter, and we also have Facebook.
Okay,
Yes.
that's good. So lots of opportunities and ways that people can access information and have us respond to their questions, as
Correct.
opposed to just wondering. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think communities just wonder what's going on, have a tendency to come to their own conclusions.
Right.
You ask us. We're more than happy to come out and talk to you
Absolutely.
because we want you to be safe.
Yes.
You guys have been great guests.
Really, thank you for
Thank
coming.
you.
Thanks for
I
having
want to
us.
thank you both. And like you didn't have enough work to do, we're going to put your number up and advertise, and
Yes,
you'll.
we like
yeah.
it.
Welcome
was
to my
good,
world,
yes.
Eric, because everybody comes to me before I send them to you.
So hopefully your
No
family has a
problem.
photograph of you so they'll recognize you when you come home on whatever day you get home. But I do want to thank you for all the work you do. One of the great things we have going for ourselves here in Scottsdale is we are a community, and we're very much a part of that community. And so I think that's one, and we're very service oriented, and we believe in outreach and being available. And I think you guys epitomize that. And I want to thank you both for being our guests. And
Thank
thanks
you.
for all you do.
Thanks,
No,
Appreciate it
thank
very
you.
much. That's it, Chris. Another
Another month.
program, another month. It's amazing. This
Then we'll
time,
be in September. Do you realize 5 months it's Christmas?
unbelievable. I haven't paid off last Christmas.
You know, 5 months
Close.
Christmas. Although
Yeah.
we walked into a restaurant today, I don't even know, or a store or something, I don't even remember, but there was Halloween stuff, so.
Oh, they do push
Halloween.
it. They do push it.
Yeah.
We'll see
It's-
Valentine's
Halloween stuff
stuff
is
soon.
out.
Yeah, they do push it. But anyway, until next time, thank you very much for being with us, and stay safe. Take care. Bye-bye.